Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Maro. I'm so happy you could join me today. Picture this. You are fully present and the world around you comes alive. You become surprised by the bird sounds around you. You can taste and enjoy the flavor and texture in your meals. You listen to and understand the words and emotions that your friends and loved ones share with you. Maybe you feel, appreciate, accept the movement of your body, and you make kind and innocent eye contact with perfect strangers. Doesn't that sound lovely? And yet, the mind likes to reach into the future for things that haven't happened yet or relive past events that we can no longer change. We overthink, we overanalyze, we become lost in thought. Yoga is a powerful tool for bringing us back to the present moment so that we don't miss out on these precious moments in front of us. And that's exactly what we'll practice today in this full body, gentle yoga class. Mindful movement, mindful breathing, meditation to end the class. So I hope you'll join me so that maybe we can rewire the brain just a little bit for some more present moment awareness. Jump into something comfortable, grab some props, and I'll see you soon. Okay, everyone, let's get started. Make sure you have a folded blanket and maybe 2 blocks or 2 pillows. We'll use those later in class. And just a reminder that I like to say in all of my classes, this is your practice. So be sure to honor your body, modify or skip anything at all. Everything I offer is a suggestion. So keep that in mind. We will begin lying down. Best way to get there is just to lean to one side like this, leaning and turning onto your back. So find yourself on your back with your legs bent, feet on the mat. I'll offer you 3 ways to lie down today. So one is called effortless rest, just feet on the mat, knees bent. Here's option number 1. Option number 2 is just let the feet go a little wider than the hips. Allow the knees to fall in towards each other for constructive rest. This is a lovely low back release. If either of those don't feel good on your body, you can always straighten your legs out, placing a bolster under your knees. That's another way to have a low back release that feels good. So pick the place that works for you today, one that feels appropriate. And let's settle in here together. Feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And let's take 3 releasing breaths together as a group, breathing in deeply through the nose. Open your mouth and let's release the past. Breathing in deeply through the nose. Open your mouth and sigh out the future. Breathing in deeply through the nose. Open your mouth. Allow yourself to arrive in this moment right here. I invite you to set an intention for class today to be fully present. Just an invitation. If you have another intention along the themes of present moment awareness or looking away from the thinking mind, feel free to set that now for yourself. And then place one hand on your belly, the other hand at the low ribs. And let's begin to stretch the breath out in both directions at your own pace without any strain or force. Preferably breathing in and out of the nose. Inhaling a nice long inhale as far as it wants to go. exhaling a long, slow exhalation as far as it can go. Breathing in deeply through the nose, as deeply as you can here in the beginning of class. Inviting this gentle, slow exhalation. Of course, if you need to use the mouth to breathe at any point in class, you can. Just try your best to breathe in and out of the nose today. And I invite you to breathe in such a way that makes your hands move. Finding that belly breathing, encouraging diaphragmatic breathing. Breathing in such a way that makes your hands move. Breathing in, the belly expands, the ribs expand, maybe both hands move. Breathing out, allowing everything to gently deflate. Just a few more deep breaths here before we begin to move mindfully. Allowing these mindful breaths here to help you arrive even more in the body, to help you look away from the thinking mind. Let's connect our breathing together. So breathing out wherever you are, exhaling fully and inhaling deeply. Let the belly and the ribs expand. Breathing out fully. Allow the hands to gently fall back down. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Breathing out fully from the nose or the mouth. Inhaling purposefully. Try to fill the torso with breath. Breathing out completely, allowing yourself to melt a little more in the shape that you've chosen. 2 more breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out from the nose or the mouth. Last one, breathing in such a way that you could reach your toes, maybe the crown of the head. Exhaling fully. Beautiful breathing, everyone. From here, let's find a full body stretch. So straightening the legs out, arms overhead, getting nice and long, maybe finding some organic movement in the wrists or the feet. Big breath here, breathing into the toes, into the fingertips. And as you exhale, begin to bend the knees and hug them in towards your chest. You can rock side to side a few times if that feels good on your low back. And let's release the feet down. Invite the arms to come out to a T shape. So back to the hands, just gently resting on the mat, hands in line with the shoulders. And breathe here in between the shoulder blades. And as you breathe deeply, reach through the fingertips, just very gently, very subtly, noticing the sensation of stretch down the arms. So reaching through the fingertips subtly, breathing in deeply. Breathing out fully. Maybe you reach just a little more. And from here, turn your gaze to look over the left palm. So looking over your left palm, really reach through the right fingertips now. So place your attention down the right arm and reach as much as you possibly can. Notice the sensations of stretch, maybe down the right side of the neck, the right arm. And let's take a deep breath here, inhaling through the nose, exhaling, softening a little more down the right side. Looking back up to the ceiling, relax the effort for a moment, big breath in. As you exhale, turn your gaze to look over the right palm and now really reach through the left fingertips, feeling these sensations of stretch down the left arm, maybe down the left side of the neck, and see if you can be fully present here with the sensations that you feel in your body, looking away from the thinking mind, allowing yourself that present moment awareness. One breath here. Coming back through neutral, look up at the ceiling again. Relax the effort in the arms and the fingertips. And now heel toe the feet 1 foot apart, maybe 2 steps apart, so that your feet reach the edges of the mat. And from here, begin to drop the knees side to side, left and right, finding windshield wipers. And start really slow here, just really tuning into the body and seeing how you feel today. So take your time. There's no rush. And let's check in here instead of checking out. So notice what this feels like in the feet and the ankles. Checking in with the knees, seeing how they feel today. Inner and outer part of the knees or any other area that's speaking to you. And moving up the legs, see how the inner and outer thighs feel. Checking in with the hips. And take an inventory of any sensations in the low back, low belly. Take a deep breath wherever you are, just a few more on each side. And come back to neutral here. Bring the feet back to that effortless rest position, hips distance apart, arms down by your sides. Connect with your breath again before we move. Just breathe deeply through the nose. Breathing out fully through the nose or the mouth. On your next inhale, float the arms up and over your head, the length of the inhalation, hugging the right knee in as you breathe out. Let's continue to flow here. Breathing in, relax the foot down, arms overhead, hugging the left knee in as you exhale. And let's continue like this. Side to side, breathing in, arms overhead, breathing out, just switch sides. Let's make this a mini meditation here. So instead of being lost in thought and just moving through this, be really mindful. Maybe you really tune into the breath and allow the breath to happen first. Let the breath initiate the movement. So try that here for just a few more rounds. Let's end here with hugging the left knee in. There's no rush whenever you get there. Hug in the knee, maybe towards the left collarbone or the left armpit, whatever feels good. Really relax the foot for a minute here and just see what this feels like. If you can't hug the knee in or can't wrap your hands around your shins, you can always use a strap. That's a nice modification for hugging the knee in. So you can try that. Relax the foot, relax the knee, relax the hip. Now bring your attention to your left big toe, and let's make big circles with the left big toe in one direction. And change the direction, go the other way. Relaxing the foot, place the left hand on the left knee, right hand on your right hip. And without moving the pelvis, start to slowly make circles with the left knee. Let's find some mobility in that left hip joint, lubricating the joint. So just check in, see how this feels with kindness and curiosity without any judgment. Just see how this feels on the left hip joint. And change the direction, go the other way. You can start with small circles, make them bigger. Again, be mindful that that right hand that's anchored on that right hip is not moving. We want to isolate this movement to that hip socket to the best of your abilities. Good. Hugging that knee back in again. Let's see what it feels like this time. Having moved a little more, so really relax the foot. Invite the foot to just drop, as though the foot relaxing can relax the knee a little bit more. Maybe that travels up the leg, relaxing the left hip joint. And take a big inhalation into that left hip as if it had its own set of lungs. Awesome. Release that foot down, breathing in deeply, arms overhead. Breathing out fully to hug that right knee in, and let's hold here. Pause for a minute, just check in to see what this feels like before we start to warm things up a little more. So relax the foot, relax the knee. See what it feels like to hug the knee in towards the collarbone, or maybe a little more in towards your right armpit. Again, you can use a strap to support yourself here if the hands can't reach your shins. So honor your body with whatever props that you need. And let's be fully present here. Place your attention on your right big toe and start to make circles in one direction. You might hear a little snap, crackle, pop. That's okay, as long as it doesn't hurt. Change the direction, go the other way. Relax that rotation in the foot, and then place right hand on the right knee, left hand on the left hip, and start to make circles with the knee in one direction. And you can start slow, just noticing what this feels like, really being mindful of the movement. Tell yourself that this right here is more important than anything else that your mind wants to focus on, right? There's a nice way to trick the mind to be present. So what we're doing right here together in our gentle yoga class is far more important than whatever distraction, to-do list item, memory, planning the mind wants you to think of. Good. Change the rotation, go the other way. Come back to your breath, breathe into that left hip, one more rotation. Awesome. Hug it back in. See what things feel like, relaxing the foot. Let that softness travel up the leg. Let the knee relax. The right hip relaxes a little more. Breathe into that right hip in such a way as if it has its own set of lungs. And release the right foot down. Pause for a moment, check in. See if the body needs anything after doing that lovely warm up. Maybe a couple more windshield wipers, maybe hugging both knees in. That's what my body's asking for. Or a full body stretch or something else. Just take one or two breaths to Move the body in a way that feels good for you. And then when you're ready, we'll meet in a bridge stance here with our feet hips distance apart and the heel bones as close to the sits bones as you want, as long as that feels okay. With tricky knees, it's nice to move the feet a little further away from the body. So just check in, see what works for you today. Arms by your sides. And we always begin with finding the breath. So big breath in through the nose. Long, slow breath out. And on your next inhale, feel your feet pressing into the mat as you lift the hips and come into bridge pose, squeezing the bum at the top. Allowing the exhale to lower you back down to neutral. Everything relaxes for just a moment before we begin again. So breathing in, really press the feet into the mat as you lift the hips as high as you want. Squeeze the bum. Your exhalation lowers you down. So continue to flow here at your own pace, using your own breath. Here's another little mini meditation. So notice what it feels like to use the entire foot, both feet pressing into the mat. It targets more of the hamstrings and the glutes versus, say, pressing a little more into the heels. Try that. That which targets the glutes just a little more. Using the breath to move the body. Looking away from the thoughts. Coming into the feeling body as you check in with how strong you are in the back of the legs. Feeling that opening in the front of the hips as you lift up into bridge. Let's do one more. And relax this down. Pause for a moment. Do anything that your body needs here. Mind's asking for constructive rest. Feet a little wider than the hips. Knees fall in towards each other. Just take a round or two of breath to do anything that your body needs before we come into round 2 of bridge flow. And let's all meet back in our bridge stance. So you can continue what we did before, just lifting the hips, or I invite you to try flowing with the arms this time. So we'll do one arm at a time and I'll guide you through this. So find your breath first. Big breath in through the nose. Long, slow breath out. On your next inhalation, press into the feet, lift the hips, bring the right arm with you, reaching up overhead as far as it can go. And as you exhale, leave the right arm where it is, lower the hips down. Now here's the secret right here. Really reach through those right fingertips as you've lowered your hips. Good. Breathing in, press into the feet, lift the hips, left arm comes up. And now as you exhale, lower the hips, right arm comes down, and then really reach through the left fingertips. Let's unstick that shoulder. Good. Continue to flow. Breathing in, hips, right arm. Breathing out, left arm and hips lower, reach through the right fingertips. Inhale, lift the hips, left arm overhead. Exhaling, hips, right arm down, reach through the left fingertips. Good. Let's do a few more on each side. Find your own rhythm here. You can use your own breath, your own pace. Let's do a few more. Stay connected to the body. See what this feels like in the shoulders. Good. The next time you come up and both arms are overhead, let's leave them there. And just lower the hips down, reaching through both fingertips. Good. Leave the hands where they are. Lift the hips up, squeeze the bum. Again, just lower the hips, reach through both fingertips. Good. Last one. Breathing in, come up to bridge. Squeeze the bum. This time, lower everything down, the hips and the arms. Maybe an open mouth sigh. And pause for a moment. Breathe. Be fully present. Check in with the body and do whatever it needs as a counter pose for all of that bridging. Mine is asking for windshield wipers. You can do the same or anything else that feels good. Trust that you know what your body needs in this moment. Awesome. Let's all meet with our feet on the mat, legs together and feet together. Okay, maybe the arms out to a T. Let's try windshield wipers like this. So see what this feels like. And let's start really slow. So maybe just let the knees drop a little to the right. Come back through center, just a little bit to the left. And if it feels okay, you can take this all the way down to the mat, down to the floor. A deeper twist in the low back and the hips. So check in and see what this variation of windshield wipers feels like. You can always create some more space between the feet if you're not enjoying this. And come back to center. Let's cross the left ankle over the right thigh and pause here for a moment. Let's try this windshield wiper action in figure 4. So again, very slowly, just allow the hips to shift side to side. So really pay attention. Here's where you shouldn't be lost in thought. I'm sure you're not. Check in with the body, see what it feels like. Make sure this is a whole body yes. And if it is telling you that it feels good and it is a whole body yes, you can let the foot go further towards the floor. Going the other way, let the knee come more towards the floor. Just a different way to windshield wiper, different way to stretch outer part of the left hip. Noticing the sensations up the sides of the torso even. Good. Come back to neutral and let's just hold our figure 4. So here is an option. You can stay the way you are like this. Maybe you place a block or a pillow under the right foot, brings the leg closer to you. Here's another option. This has become my new favorite. If you're not feeling anything here and you want more, you'll hug that right thigh in towards your chest. Wherever you are, invite that left knee to just the action of it moving away from the body. Okay, you might even flex that left foot wherever you are. Let's hold and breathe. This moment, this experience, the most interesting thing that's happened today. Feel as though this is the most important moment. One more breath. And release the left foot down. You can place the block to the side. Pause again, breathe, and be fully present. Be fully present in the waiting here. Hearing the sounds, feeling your whole body, feeling and following just one breath. Mindfully crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. And let's find that windshield wiper movement very gently, very slowly, maybe arms out to a T. Just allow the legs to shift side to side, a few inches to the left, a few inches to the right. Check in with the right knee and your hips. Make sure this is a whole body yes. And if it feels good, then you can go further, inviting maybe the foot to come towards the floor, or maybe it touches the floor. And maybe the right knee comes closer to the floor or touches the floor, at least the top of the thigh touches the floor. Landing back in the center, finding our figure 4 that we're going to hold. So pause and just feel this shape before you rush into the one that you want, the one that the mind is telling you to do. Just check in and see what this feels like. This might be enough. Or you can place a block under the left foot. That's how I like to do it. Here's my preference. If you're not feeling anything, you can hug the left thigh in towards your chest. So from here, and gently invite that right knee to move away from the body, just feeling the action of it. Flexing the right foot might help too. So pause, breathe, relax your jaw, relax your forehead. Check in with the sensations of stretch as a way to anchor your attention in the here and now. Release that right foot down, left foot down. Sorry, I should have said left foot down first, then right foot down. Place that block or pillow to the side. We might use that later. And let's find ourselves in mountain pose. So straighten out the legs. Allow the shoulders to move a little further down. You might just lift your upper back and just let the shoulders rest down the back, right? They're moving away from the ears. And then smooth the buttocks towards the heels so your pelvis is in the right position. Gently pressing the heels into the mat. So you feel action, a little bit of action. We're not over clenching, over gripping the legs, but you feel like you are standing in Tadasana, the top of your mountain. You are the mountain. So feel your body in this shape, breathing deeply into the toes, into the fingertips, maybe into the crown of the head. Exhaling fully. On your next breath in, float the arms up and over your head. Breathing out, hugging the right knee in towards your chest. And let's flow here, breathing in to release the leg. Stretch out long, arms overhead. Breathing out, left knee, hug in. Let's go side to side with this. Getting a deeper stretch, also a little core activation here, as this is a full body gentle yoga class. So feel your core engage as you breathe out. Exhaling to pull the belly in and up. Let that help you hug the knee in. And you can continue like this if the head and neck and upper back allow it and it feels okay. You can invite the forehead to come towards the knee. But only if that feels okay on the head and the neck. So check in, honor your body, and do whatever it is that feels good. Let's do one more on each side, ending with the left knee. So we can balance things out, but there's no rush. Take your time getting there. And then when you're done, hugging both knees in. Placing right hand on right knee, left hand on left knee. Let's make circles in one direction with the knees. And then go the other way. Come back through center. Let the feet come up towards the ceiling. Let the fingertips come up to the ceiling. And let's find some movement in the wrists and the ankles, just whatever feels good as we warm things up. So we can come up to table. And maybe you even spread the toes, spread the fingers, scrunch up the toes, whatever that means. Make fists with your hands. Just getting a little movement here. And then you can start to shake things out a little, shaking out the hands, the feet, like you're trying to get something to stick to the ceiling. Good. Now invite the heel bones to reach up to the ceiling and reach the arms overhead. So in this shape, take a big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, hug the knees in. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in, heel bones to the ceiling, arms overhead. Breathing out to hug the knees in. Nice and slow. Last one. Big breath in. Long, slow breath out. Fantastic. From here, lean to one side. And then we'll gently press ourselves up to find tabletop. Go ahead and place that folded blanket under the knees and we'll find tabletop, hands and knees pose. So knees directly under hips, hands in line with your face. That's where I like them. Gives my shoulders a little more space to breathe. Spread the fingers really, really, really wide. Yeah, feel all 10 fingertips, both palms. Tuck the toes. And let's lean back, gently allowing your hips to move towards your heels. Spread the fingers again, breathing in to come up to center, breathing out to send the hips back. Get a foot and toe stretch. Good. Come back through center. Keep the feet like that if it feels good. And let's lean side to side. So leaning a little more towards the left hand, giving the right wrist a little break. And then we'll switch sides, leaning a little more to the right, giving the left wrist a break. So continue like this side to side and know that you're in control of how much weight you put in your wrists. So the secret to having less weight in the wrists is just to shift the hips back a little bit. That relieves the pressure and the weight. Keep spreading those fingers. They like to go back in, right? Let's protect the wrist and the elbow and the shoulder by using the entire hand on the mat. Cool. Now send the hips back again towards the heels, tucking all the toes under. Give the wrists a break for a minute before we do some rotations. So inhaling to the right and forward, as far forward as you want to go, breathing out left and back. Let's go in that direction one more time. Breathing in right and forward. Breathing out left and back. Good. Let's change the direction. Inhaling left and forward. Exhaling right and back. One more in that way. Breathing in. Breathing out. Cool. Untuck the toes. I think we're ready for some cat-cows. Go ahead and drop the belly. Let's get set up here in cow pose. So really let the tailbone to reach up to the ceiling. Invite that arching in the spine. Invite the shoulders to move away from the ears. And as you drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your gaze. Take a breath here. Exhaling to start to tuck the tailbone, and you're going to round the low back first, mid back, upper back, releasing the head and neck last. And then to come back into cow pose, untuck the tailbone as you arch low back, mid back, upper back, chest and gaze up last. So using that direction, the wave of the breath moving through the tailbone up the spine is one of the best ways to move through cat-cow so that you're not bending, arching and rounding from that same spot in your spine. All right, let's do that a few more times. Really breathe your way in and out of this. Let's do 2 more. And then when you're ready, we'll find child's pose for a little break. Maybe toes together, knees wide. Arms can reach forward or rest by your sides. And I like to place something under my forehead, maybe a block or a pillow. If child's pose doesn't feel good today, just lift the hips a little higher into puppy pose. So let's give the wrists a break. You can rotate them if you need to. And check back in with our intention of being fully present, of valuing this moment right here. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, life only exists in the present moment. It does not exist in the planning and the remembering. It exists right now. Let's take 2 deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Feel like the back body can lift up a little with your breath. Breathing out, allow yourself to melt a little more in this shape. One more breath. Breathing in deeply. Breathing out completely. Gently allow yourself to come up, back through tabletop. From here, we will step the right foot forward and coming up for low lunge. Placing the right hand on the right thigh, reach through the left fingertips. Breathing in, get really tall in the spine. Feel like you're telescoping your torso up. And as you exhale, a hint of a side bend to the right. Checking in with the stretch sensations up the left thigh, left side of the torso. Big breath in, lengthen. Big breath out. Maybe you side bend just a centimeter more. Now inhaling, both fingertips up to the ceiling. Breathing out to place the hands down. Here's where you might need a block. Have that handy. We will twist to the right, but maybe you want the right toes to turn out to the right just a little bit. Left hand on the mat, right hand at your right thigh. So feel this out. It might also feel good to tuck the back toe, lifting the knee off the mat and placing it a little further back. So you have an option to do that. Really allow the shoulders to move away from the ears, okay? So we don't want to bring the shoulders with us into the twist. If you like, you can place that block or pillow under the hand. So this could be enough. If you'd like a little more, you can reach that right arm up, opening your chest into your low lunge twist. And breathe deeply here. We'll release this down. Place the block to the side. Come back through table and option for child's pose, puppy pose, or downward facing dog. If you'd like, tuck the toes, lift the hips, send them up and back. You can find that perfect distance between the feet and the hands by adjusting the feet further back or forward. And you can pedal the feet side to side if you'd like in your down dog. Get a little deeper stretch in the back of the leg. Let's find stillness wherever we are. Child's pose, puppy, or down dog. My down dog folks, spread the fingers, press the floor away, hug the armpits into the chin. Micro bend in the knee and feel like you're sticking your bum up towards the sky. Breathing in deeply. Breathing out fully. And we will all meet back in tabletop where you'll step the left leg through. Check in with the hips. Make sure they're both facing forward. Breathing in to come up. And let's place left hand on left thigh. Right hand reaching up, nice and tall. Lengthen. Take a big breath in. Feel like you're telescoping your entire torso up. And as you exhale, a hint of a side bend to the left. And feel the sensation of stretch up the right thigh, right side of the torso, maybe even the right arm. Breathe in deeply. Breathing out, a hint of a side bend, just a little more, maybe 1 centimeter. Both fingertips up. Inhale deeply. Exhaling to let the hands rest down as we prepare for our twist to the left. So sometimes it helps to turn those toes out to that left corner of the mat. Right hand a little more open. You can place the left hand on the left thigh. And actually, I did this instinctually. You can tuck the back toes of the right leg, lift that knee, and just send it back a little more. This is kind of a deeper twist, just letting that hip sink towards the mat. And then shoulders away from ears as you begin to open up your chest to the left. So you're twisting to the left. You can place a block to bring the floor closer to you. Maybe the left hand wants to reach up to the ceiling. Take a big breath here. And exhale to release this down. Let the block rest to the side. Coming back through neutral. One more time, either child's pose, puppy pose, or downward facing dog. Lift the hips for down dog. Find your upside down V shape. And let's take 2 breaths in down dog. And then we'll eventually all meet in child's pose. Breathing in deeply. Breathing out completely. Checking in. Noticing where your attention is. Feel your whole body wherever you are. Down dog folks, go ahead and lower the knees. Come back to child's pose. 2 breaths here. Tell yourself that this moment right here is far more important than whatever it is your mind wants you to focus on. So hear the sounds, feel your body, find your breath. Gently come up from your child's pose, and we will come back lying down on the mat. So grab your blanket. You can place it under your head again, and let's lie back down for a few more poses before we rest in Shavasana. So feet on the mat, glue the legs together and the feet together, and then lift and shift the hips a little to the right, like maybe 4 to 6 inches to the right, allowing the legs as though they were glued together to fall to the left. And maybe the left hand wants to guide the right thigh down. You can hold the outer part of the right knee or the outer part of the right thigh. That's an optional way to make the twist a little more intense. Maybe the right arm wants to reach out to the right and just check in with the right shoulder. It might feel good to place a folded blanket under the right shoulder or something to allow it to really rest onto the floor, onto the mat. So allow yourself to be in this shape, this reclined twist. Gaze over the right palm. And take 2 deep breaths here. If you place more importance on the past or the future, you miss the here and now. So feel as though this is the most important thing, this experience right here. Might we rewire the brain just a little bit today for some present moment awareness? Gently come out of this in a way that feels okay for the body. Allow the legs to come back up, back through center. Let's glue the legs together, feet together, maybe arms out to a T. Pressing into the feet, lift and shift your hips a little to the left, like 4 to 6 inches. And drop the knees to the right, hopefully stacked to the best of your abilities. Mine aren't perfect. Right hand gently guiding the left thigh down. Left arm reaching to the left, maybe gaze following the left palm. And let's hold here for a few breaths. Relax your face, your forehead, your jaw. Hear the sounds. Feel your body in this shape. Feel and follow your breath. And we'll slowly come out of this, come back through center and straighten the legs out. Arms by your sides for final resting pose. Join me in Shavasana as we allow the body to rest. And while you're here lying down, I invite you to send wave after wave of relaxation, beginning at the crown of your head, moving down the body towards your feet. Just keep sending the waves. Send that signal, wave after wave, to every cell of your being, down the body. Keep sending the same signal over and over again. And eventually it shifts from something subtle to something a little more obvious. You might notice it broadens and builds. So just a few more. Wave after wave of relaxation, just moving down the body. And then when you relax the effort, you'll notice that it might even continue. The relaxation, the waves flowing down the body continue on their own. So release the effort, release your attention, let it move freely. Just rest here without waiting for the next thing, without visiting the past that's already happened. Just rest in this moment right here. Mindfully bring your awareness to your fingers and toes as you begin to move them ever so gently. Maybe the arms reach overhead. Take a big breath in through the nose for a full body stretch. And you can take a few more breaths like this, right here. When you're ready on an exhale, you can bend the knees, hug them into the chest. And then I invite you to lean to one side. From here, press yourself up to find a seat on something. I am going to use my block And since it's really hard, I like to place the blanket over the block. So find yourself sitting on something with elevated hips so that we can practice some pranayama and meditation to end the class. So today we will practice samavriti breathing, equal parts breath. And there's two different ways that you can do this. You can, let's say, inhale for a count of 3, which means you'll exhale for a count of 3. So breathing in for a count of whether it's 2, 3, or 4, pick one that works for you. And then your exhale will be the same count so that their inhale and exhale are equal parts. Another way to do this is box breathing, which is also equal parts. We're stretching all 4 parts of the breath out. So breathing in for, say, a count of 3, you're going to pause for a count of 3, exhale for a count of 3, and then hold again for a count of 3. So you're creating this box with your breath, right? And I'll guide you through it one more time. Breathing in for 3, you're going to hold for 3, exhale 3, pause for 3. Okay, so pick one of those 2 techniques. And let's do 6 rounds of breath. So you can soften your gaze or maybe close your eyes, sit nice and tall so the diaphragm has the ability to move down freely. And breathing more into your belly and your ribs, you may begin. And whenever you're done, there's no rush. Relax the effort. Stay in your seat wherever you are, sitting nice and tall. And then I'd like for you to place yourself in this experience fully, hearing the sounds in your environment, feeling your body in space, noticing the touch points where you're sitting. You might even notice thoughts that want to take your attention away. Try to keep your attention anchored in the present moment by prioritizing sounds and sensations over thoughts. So choose this moment here. This is the most important moment over being lost in thought. Staying with the sounds and the sensations. If you'd like to narrow your attention a little more, you can feel and follow your breath. Just let the sounds and the sensations, the other body sensations, move in the background of your awareness as you become increasingly interested in what it feels like to breathe, maybe in what moves in the body when you breathe. You can narrow the scope of your attention even more to just feeling and following the breath right at the nose, upper lip area. Noticing the cool air as you breathe in, the warm air as you breathe out. with kindness. Notice where your attention is with so much kindness. This is a very forgiving practice, so gently guide it back. Just for a few more rounds of breath. You got this. Be fully present. Bring the palms together mindfully. Feel the fingertips touch. Thumbs towards your sternum. You can bow your head towards your heart. Feel really good about practicing today. Mindfully moving, mindfully breathing, holding space for yourself to rewire the brain for a little more present moment awareness. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Kick ass today. Until next time.